Hello, Galaxy. Or hello, Note. That's, by the way, when I reference Galaxy at the beginning of pretty much every one of my videos, hello, Galaxy. It is not a Samsung reference. That I have to explain that is kind of funny because it's absolutely a Star Wars reference. I begin a video with the Star Wars reference. I end the video with the Star Wars reference. That's why I say, may the Force be with you. It's generally a courteous thing to say to somebody else. But I am doing this live, as I am prone to do. However frequently I publish videos online. What is it, every weekday or so? It's been a very busy week. Yesterday, I had a chance to see The Last Jedi. The premiere was last night. Very excited. I'll be honest, that's pretty much the only thing on my mind right now. Probably will be for the next year or so. Just needed to let you know that. This is my Note 8. You can see it reflecting, well, at least the word Note 8. Can you say it's a word? Okay, the product name, Note 8. On the box, passed to me by my friends at T-Mobile, specifically Dez. Thank you. Ask Dez on Twitter. That's who you should follow. You might note, get it? You might note, I might note that a lot of you have asked for me to take a look at this. And so this is the time when I'm going to take a look at this. Live with everybody here in a super chat already. David Stevens says, couldn't miss this one, Chris. I know, tell me about it. It was either this phone or the iPhone 10 that so many of you wanted me to see, but I was willing to wait. Held out for a review unit. Glad I did, and I now have it here. So, in case you are also curious to know, this has already been unboxed. This is not a fresh unboxing, but I'm here to show you what came inside the box, since unboxings are great, and to give you my initial impressions. Here it is, right there inside. The door flaps open. What is the official part of this box called? Look, I think I'd call it a door. A flap. The flaps open.
I'm here.
Why is Diana here? Oh, this isn't TLDR.
No, I want to see.
Oh, you want to see the Note 8?
Yes.
It comes with a little USB conversion tool mechanism. It comes with a SIM card, a tray ejector thing. Wait. It's a SIM tray ejector tool. That's what I meant to say. Hello, Diana.
I'm excited to see this. I want to see it.
Oh, Chris back there. Okay, I was like,
Wrong, Chris.
welcome to the Galaxy Note 8, and we also have other documentation, which is now been dropped. But terms and conditions, no one reads these. I certainly don't. Setting up your Samsung account, how to transfer content to your new Galaxy phone. I assume that's where the little widget would come in handy. There's also another adapter. So there are two different adapters, potentially for conversions, cable conversions. Also an AC adapter. It's got the classic port, USB port. There's the USB-C cable. I'm glad to have one of these. Well, this isn't a black one. The box is black, but the Note 8 is the... Oh, yeah, totally. Usually they come white, but I'm glad they came black. This is the off-gray edition. No. The Orca black, the Orca gray. Des mentioned it, and I didn't really make note of it. I'm not exactly sure. Yeah, they're Orchid Gray. Although, I wouldn't call it gray. I would call it like a very odd blue gray? Odd blue gray, I think is what I'd go with. Not as sexy sounding as Orchid, but...
like a whale?
Yeah, no, is Orchid whale? No, orca. That's an orca whale, yeah honey. But I feel it's very whale color. They could have gone with orca just as well. But this is it. My first impression in seeing this phone and everything inside it, including, it also comes with earbuds that you're probably not going to use. I never seem to, because they're always very painful for me to use. We have some stylus tip replacements, and something else in this little baggie that's now dropped on the floor. Potentially it's squishy, so probably like foam replacements for the in-ear headphones, which I will certainly try, just not necessarily in this particular video. My initial impression in seeing the hardware is that, yeah, okay, that's a color that can, by the way, be mitigated. I'm very happy. As you might remember, I happen to have this Note 8 case from Mophie, which is a part of my favorite solution for wireless charging and external battery adapters. It also adds a lip on the top and the bottom to help keep it somewhat protected from flat falls. And theoretically, oh, there's no extra juice in there. It also mitigates the color. So you can get any color that you want and still get a color that you want. I happen to be a fan of the black. My other impression in seeing it before booting it up here is that it's tall. Tall phone is tall. The cord is the same color as the phone. I know it's kind of a shock when that happens anymore, but Samsung is paying attention, and they would have gone a little further and done the Orca blue. I'm sorry. Now Diana's got me thinking whale too. Orchid gray color. That would have been impressive, but still, it is impressive. I mean, what you see here with the bezels and the phone itself is black, straight up black. I know some people, oh, it's bezel-less. No, it's still there, but I'm not complaining. I'm someone who is not excited and championing the idea that bezels need to completely disappear. Metallic Cat 61003 comes in with a super chat. I traded in the iPhone 8 Plus for the Note 8. Couldn't be happier. Okay. That's good to know. Everyone's going to have a completely different experience. Let's go ahead and boot it up. Galaxy Note 8. That's a clean screen. It's a nice screen. Very bright screen. I should say that this was already unboxed by T-Mobile. I have had a chance to try it and boot it up for myself for the first time and see kind of what's going on with it. And so now I'm going to give you my initial impressions. I have not tweaked the device. I have not, modified it apart from... Hang on. Oh, I think she was just scared. Sorry. That was a loud cry. Diana must have snuck up on her. Jedi was sleeping. Hey, by the way, in terms of my roles that I play, Daddy is number one. Geek is now shoved further down the list. So my family absolutely takes priority over everything. It's actually, I think it's Dad, Star Wars fan, and then everything else from there. I should put husband in there too, not to slag Diana. So I've already, played with it, did some swipe arounds, did some, installing updates and everything, let it kind of cool down. And I don't mean because it got hot, just, some people say, well, you gotta let things install and do their thing before you look at it because it's not fair. Things actually get more responsive. So I know a lot of you really like your Samsung Note 8s, and that's great. I'm not here to take away from that, but the software I'm sure has been improved. I'm not here to debate the hardware, or at least the validity of the hardware. It's valid. It does work. It does function. But now after having experienced, I guess a cleaner Android approach, it is very difficult to put the Note 8 in the same class of software experience and general device experience as the Pixel 2 XL. Despite all the Pixel 2 XL shortcomings, despite all the Note 8's features, including software features, really neat little features that would be potentially handy, like you can install two versions of the same app to effectively do account switching, even if the app doesn't support that. Kind of neat. I also appreciate on this particular device, I'm still learning how to unlock the thing. Hang on. Give me a second. There's a nuance to it. There we go. Swipe. Okay, it unlocked it. There. If I'm in, let's say, internet, that's the web browser that Samsung uses. And you can see I don't have the nav bar at the bottom. Effectively, what I can do is tap and hold in the bottom, and then I kind of get this haptic feedback. Even without that button there, the software button there, it acts as kind of an invisible home button. like that. I think that's kind of neat. That's so they did some really neat things. But in terms of performance, hi, sweetie, you doing okay? You doing well?
She just woke up.
Oh, just woke up. All right. Yeah, I heard. I think you kind of threw her off there. Oh, Daddy. Well, Daddy's right here, boo.
Yeah.
Daddy's right here.
When she gets really scared, she asks for Daddy.
Oh, it's okay. You good, though? You good, baby? Okay. I think there was something on... I found your coin purse on the end table downstairs. What, boo?
You have to look it.
I'm not licking it. Vaughn Goy says, you got the note. I just got the pixel today. Law. Well, it happens. I don't have to lick it.
No,
not for $2. Super chat does. Thank you. I appreciate it, but I'm not licking it for $2. That's for sure.
I'll lick it.
What is downstairs?
Your coin purse. I found your coin purse downstairs.
Everyone wants your lick it test.
I'm glad they want my lick it test. That doesn't mean it's absolutely going to happen. So, Samsung's definitely got some neat tweaks to Android. They've certainly got ample hardware. The screen is clean. It's nice. It's wonderful. The blacks are Vadery.
Now it's $4.
I'm glad that it's $4, but I'm still not licking the phone. I'm not sure I would consider this as lick worthy as some people would, and that's putting it nicely. Again, I'm not here to slag your choices, you know. I'm kind of interested why so many of you, I guess, like hardware more than software. The software's got a long way to go, and that was really never more apparent than during the setup process with the software on this device, and I was just kind of taken aback. I mean, I know Samsung has software development teams. I know they have product development teams. I know they're the leader in terms of Android device experiences out there, but it just kind of baffles me that they've made some choices. And if you're looking for a top performer in software, I can tell you with a great degree of assurance, the Note 8 ain't it. If you're looking for a feature-packed hardware device that, you know, you might be able to modify bits of in software, although you can't fully escape TouchWiz. That's never going to happen. Yeah, I think you would be, I guess, happier with the Note 8, but it does suffer from a healthy amount of jank, frame drops. It's inconsistent frame rates, and that's throughout the entire experience. Even after waiting, like I said, even after doing the factory reset, even after updating to the latest version of Android and all blah, 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 blah. I mean, it looks clean, you know, as far as the user interface is concerned. But it does not go toe-to-toe with the Pixel 2 XL. If you're looking for a viable performer, it's definitely second place. If there's a place between, I guess, what Google perceives is what Android could be in terms of a performer, Samsung does not go toe-to-toe. And anybody who tells you that probably doesn't care about software as much as I do. And I think that's fair. I think too many people buy the latest hardware, and they're won over by the hardware, but that don't impress me much. I use the device, and to use the device, I need software, and if I'm going to be using software, I want it to perform well. And I'm not saying it's a slouch in terms of general software performance, but it's not as smooth as so many people said it was. I'm like, okay, I don't think I got a faulty unit. 4062 comes in with a super chat. Love the views. Chris, keep them coming. Merry Christmas to the Pirillo family. Happy holidays to everybody out there. The challenge with doing these types of look-sees, these first looks of devices, is that it's subjective. Like, my perspective is going to be my perspective. You can sit there and shout at me all you want and say, oh, you're wrong, but I'm not. I'm not wrong. I have my opinions. My opinions are not wrong. If I stated a fact incorrectly, that would be me being wrong, but I'm not stating any facts incorrectly. Omnipotent asks a good question. How do I like the screen compared to the Pixel 2 XL? To me, it's a wash in terms of what I use and what I've been accustomed to. I mean, it's a nice screen, but I wouldn't say that, you know, the difference is like, oh, night and day. I am not a screen file. What's the best word? A displayophile? like I'm not an audiophile. I'm not someone who just, you know, thinks that I can see the differences between the two. I'm sure there are people out there who could, but a lot of those shortcomings are perceived shortcomings between the two devices. There's nothing about. Let me put it this way: there's nothing that in my use case. Oh man, that was janky. In my use case, in my using this particular device, there's nothing that I see in how Samsung executed upon its vision of what the Note 8 could be that would necessarily have me, dropping everything and running to it. I don't even know if I would necessarily find it much more than a lateral move between iOS performing on an iPhone 8 Plus, compared to, how Android performs on the Note 8. I don't think that would change necessarily with the upgrade to Oreo, which I assume is coming down the pike soon. It's okay. It's absolutely okay. There's nothing that I'm saying, this is the worst thing ever. I just don't think that it's the attention to detail on the software side is anywhere near the attention to detail on the hardware side. But then again, that seems to be the case across the industry. So Samsung's no exception to that very, very dominant rule. I'm not sure how that's going to change. JSal 1993, Chris, is the screen much better than the Pixel 2? I'm sure some people say it is. I'm not so sure, because part of me says, oh yeah, the screen is clean, right? And the colors look fine, and you can tweak it just like you can on the Pixel 2 XL. But, to me, part of the screen is the performance of the screen, not refresh rate. Is it relatively fluid? Does it feel like it's able to keep up with your touch in terms of responsiveness? Is it seemingly jitter free? And that to me is just as important for a screen as anything else. And that is where I would say no. I mean, they go toe to toe. I'm sure spec wise, or if you're to do a shootout, well, the other screen is inferior. Okay, I look for something different in my devices, or the devices that I would certainly recommend, wholeheartedly, all out. But of course, these are just my initial impressions. This is not a review. This is just kind of like, okay, I see how you did that. That's interesting. That's a fun little feature. That's neat, but. I know. I could also, as I've talked about, you don't have to, preach to me. You can replace the launcher. Still can't escape TouchWiz. But there are certain things you can do to mitigate, what Samsung believes is a solid experience for a Note 8. I'm just not so sure if we're necessarily seeing eye to eye on that yet. But if you like your Note 8, cool. But remember, I can't even recommend anything else. So it's fine. There's nothing wrong with it. It just depends on what you perceive as a shortcoming. And I already know 90% of y'all don't perceive software as a shortcoming. I do. Chris, have you played around with the camera yet? Any impressions? Briefly, they've got this nice little, I guess kind of like double tap the power button to launch it. It's a nice little feature I've had. Quick launch. Yes, I know. I had it turned on. There's Bixby Vision, and I've played with Bixby, and it's just annoyed me. I even updated to the latest Bixby. I'm like, why? And it's getting better. That's the good news. It's absolutely getting better. But in terms of how Samsung implemented it on here, I'm like, okay. So haven't had a chance to run it through its paces, but it'll get better. In terms of taking pictures, yeah, I mean it's relatively snappy in terms of performance. There's actually kind of that the what do they call it? Not portrait mode, where you can blur out, soft blur the background's kind of neat. Tap the lock icon to lock. No, I didn't want to lock. Hang on. Wait a minute. Is that what I'm supposed to do? What happened there? No, gallery. Hang on. Back. Go back. I can't go back. Okay, hang on. You can toggle that particular feature. Live focus is what they call it. And then change the background blur specifically, and I think it needs to have an object to focus on. I haven't necessarily played around with it apart from just taking a few shots, not even doing comparison shots back and forth. But I mean, it is a functional camera. It's seemingly a nice camera. It even has little stickers built in. Doesn't have Star Wars stickers, unfortunately. But still having a few of those things may be fun for people out there. I think just having a camera that produces pictures or photos or video that are worth sharing says it all. But let's face it, just about every device out there pretty much does that. I've had my Note since release and immediately used Google Now launcher, ditching Samsung's launcher made the phone 100 times better. Yeah, like I said, I have not gone through. Let's see if I can get that button to work. Yay, pretty neat feature there. Haven't replaced the launcher. Not sure how much that's going to mitigate performance, because part of my issue is specifically like the notification center. I think it's just going to take some getting used to. There are certain notifications that are persistent that you simply can't get rid of, and that's just kind of annoying to me. Like right now it says no SIM card inserted. Yes, I know. I can't. I can silent notification, but that doesn't do anything perceivably. And it's still there, but I'm not warned that it's there, I guess. So yeah, I guess. There's even this thing called performance mode where it like changes the brightness, increases it, changes the screen resolution. And I honestly, I haven't been able to see the difference. There's even a gaming mode on here. Actually, they've made some tweaks in software that I'm sure make a difference. I'm just not so sure if I'm seeing the difference in software, with the hardware. David Stevens mentions hardware 9 out of 10, software 4 out of 10. So much scrolling jank on my Note. You see, so don't sit there and say, thank you, David, for backing me up on this. You know who I am, people. What did you think? Did you think this was magically going to, blind me into to no longer believing the thing that I've believed for my entire career? Okay. Yeah, I'm the delusional one. 4062 comes in with a super chat. Would be great if Samsung released an S8 or Note 8 with unadulterated Oreo, no TouchWiz. I concur. I know there are ways to modify. Everyone's trying to come up with a counter argument because you think your religion of Samsung defeats every other religion out there. I'm not here to, espouse, the wonders of one religion over another. I know what can be mitigated. I know how things can get mitigated. And I know that ultimately the things that I feel are not mitigatable, specifically on this type of device, at least not without compromising something else that I would rather not compromise. The Note 8 is amazing if you use the S Pen. Yes, the S Pen. So the S Pen is accessible even here with the case on, and it's not exactly easy to pull out. But yes, if I was someone who still used a pen, and I don't know if I am, with the digitizer, I mean, it's clean. I mean, it's very, immediate. Like, the responsiveness of it, I don't feel like there's too much lag. I feel like I'm not writing on paper, but, if I were to write on paper, and look at that, it's pressure sensitive, very light, very hard. It seems like it's drawing a slightly thicker line, or a skinnier line as I barely touch it. Seems pressure sensitive. And if it's not, boy, it fooled me. See, I don't read the spec sheets. I just use it. Yeah, it seems very slightly, at least this particular application. But I like that. There's nothing, see, like I said, there's nothing wrong with it. In terms of what it has to offer. And this may be the winning factor for you if you happen to be someone who jots down notes or does drawing. That's pretty neat. And I think Samsung's got that market cornered, and more power to them for having done that and done something like this. Let me see here. I got to make sure I insert it the right way. Yay, I think I did. Screen off. And see, the screen goes off. The memos application goes away. Always on display. Yeah, I mean, it is definitely one of the better Android devices you could get today. But the software is where I would have serious reservations about it. Again, this is an initial impressions. Probably going to play with it a bit more. Well, probably will be playing with it a bit more. Doing some videos with it. I was talking with someone who's become a fast friend about some videos we might be able to shoot with it, and kind of run it through its paces, so to speak. But anyway, purely hardware comparison: Pixel 2 XL or the Note 8. I don't know. Because to me, hardware takes a backseat to software. So I would rather have lackluster hardware and a better experience than powerful hardware and a lackluster experience. If that made sense. Made sense in my head. So it's difficult to say purely hardware comparison because you're basically stripping away the entire value of the device if you're just talking about hardware. Just like if you're talking about software, you're stripping away half the value of the device. The two have to run in conjunction with one another. So I really couldn't compare that. And that's not because I have a favorite. It's not because I'm looking for one to win out over the other. I think it's a disingenuous answer to effectively provide. But there are people that are making comments here, in the YouTube chat as y'all will do, all across the board. But this is one of the reasons why I'm just not a gadget guy. I like what they can do. They can take pictures. That's pretty cool. Never thought I'd see that, and when I was a kid, certainly. They by and large can replace your desktop computer for a lot of functionality. Not all functionality, certainly not. I wouldn't be prone to saying that. You think you'll look at it again once Android 8.0 unless you already have it installed? I don't have 8.0 installed. I don't think they've released a beta for it yet. I think that's coming soon, though, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think Oreo is going to improve the performance. I think that's largely a Samsung thing. It may be a law of diminishing returns, but yeah, I'm going to continue to take a look-see. Like I said, trying to run it through its paces. I just don't know if it's there for me, and that's the best thing I could say about it. But I appreciate everyone thinking of me when they said that, hey, you should get that, you should try that, because that's exactly what I did. I fought for it. And thankfully, Des was listening. So that's pretty much what I have to say about my initial impressions. Will I try filming a video on it for us? I guess. I don't know what it would be. This year, what could I record? I don't really have anything that I need to record on it. I just did my reaction to The Last Jedi last night. That would have been really nice to use. Although, see, if I did a video recording, I wouldn't necessarily tell you I was doing a video test, because I think a lot of that just gets staged. And honestly, I'm not as interested in that. I'd rather see like a real world scenario. So if I'm so lucky, I may be able to capture a really cute moment with Jedi, or possibly with the family, because this is the holiday season, and then use that, as a kind of a video test. But there's to my knowledge, that hasn't hit the forefront in terms of shortcomings perceived from the greater community of Note 8 users. Lest we forget, this thing doesn't even have Oreo, so there's that caveat. I don't think that's a caveat, though. I don't think that's as big a deal as it used to be. Samsung has done a hell of a job convincing users that the only real alternative to Apple. Yeah, well, that's what I said. They got a strong machine going for them. I would hope that Samsung doubles down on its software performance. And keeps pushing that forward, as well as the hardware features, which I cannot deny are certainly, flagship worthy. But well, you know me. If you don't know me, man, you should get to know me, because I see things differently than a lot of other people. Probably too much. That's my problem. I'm not like everybody else. I need to be more like everybody else, right? That's what I think a lot of you Samsung supporters would want me to be. You'd want me to be like you. But isn't that the whole thing their marketing kind of goes after? Says, don't be like them, be like us. Right? But that's the popular option. Go with the non-popular option. Wait, what are you saying? Are you saying Apple's more popular than Samsung? Or you want Samsung to be more popular? How does it... But then you're the popular one, and then there's another underdog, and you're not the underdog. You're the overdog. You're the top dog. But, you want them to follow your flock, not the other flock? But I don't know, dude. There's something about that never really sat well with me. This isn't a religion. Let me put it this way. Not to me, it ain't. So, thank you, everybody, for tuning in. I'm going to move on to TLDR in the other channel. Then probably a creator advocate topic. And then last but not least, I'm going to round things out tonight with another Star Wars radar video. Very much looking forward to that, talking about ways that you can best enjoy The Last Jedi. I've definitely been involved in a few heated conversations about this. You thought the world of tech was full of, wacky things. No, you ain't seen Star Wars fandom. we get crazy. There's a religion, Jedi, the religion. So thank you everybody for tuning in. Gonna head out, gonna do my other things, and hope to see you there as well, even though I'm more than confident you won't be there. I love you. I appreciate you anyway. But at this point, I'm going to leave you to your own devices, whether or not they happen to be from Samsung. May the Force be with you.